The Miracle Mets continue to roll. Resilient. Shut out for 7 innings, held to just 1 hit. They score 5 runs on 5 hits in the 8th inning, including that Brandon Nimmo RBI knock. And the Mets rally back to win it 6-2. 44th comeback win of the season. That's most in the bigs. The never say die New York Mets. One word for them: resilient. Zach Wheeler holding them to 1 hit through 7 innings, 9 punch-outs, and then the 8th inning, they go off. Consider this. In the last 2 games, innings 1 through 7, 3 for 44. Innings 8 and 9, 10 for 20 with 10 runs scored, and they rally to a 1-0 series lead on the road in Philadelphia. Get some instant analysis. Welcome former Marlins president David Samson. Helped the club win a World Series in 2003. David, what can you say about these Miracle Mets? One word is resilient. My goodness, they just keep finding ways to win.
Outs, because that's what it takes to win a game. And we can talk about Zach Wheeler all we want, but when you go 7 and he's pitch count, they let him go to 108, 110 pitches. And the Phillies bullpen, not exactly like the Guardians bullpen. And the Mets realized they had 6 outs to work with, and they made it happen. They have that confidence on the bench when they know that all they need is a little opening. And in this case, when Wheeler leaves the game, that's the feeling you get when Mark Pryor leaves the game in the 8th inning of the LCS in 03. You've got this. And that is what the Mets did to Wheeler.
How do you explain this, though? Right? I mean, when you sit here and go, how do you explain this? Because they're left for dead for 7 innings, and then here in the 8th and 9th innings, it's like maybe just start the game in the 8th inning.
Well, we have a simple rule in Philadelphia. You have to add on. Schwarber leads off the game with a home run, and they do not add on at all. Now, the Mets didn't score, but they're in the game. They just know they're biding their time. The rule is Citizens Bank for sure, 1 run's not going to do it. But any home team who scores first and early, you don't want to stop with just first inning runs. There's so long to go. And we saw it. God, we've seen it with the Mets in all of their games this week. They take advantage of all 27 outs, forcing the Phillies now to have to win 3 out of 4.
Well, when you take a look back at that 8th inning, right, it's an Alvarez single, Lindor with another walk, continuing to keep the line moving. Then Mark Vientos, who struggled in that last series against the Brewers, provides the equalizer. Then Brandon Nimmo finds a pitch that he likes, knocks that in for an RBI. Alonso with a productive at-bat with a sac fly. Iglesias with a single on the 10th pitch of the at-bat. J.D. Martinez with an RBI single. Marte with a sac fly. It's just the line keeps moving. And it's as if it's just like we're handing the baton to the next guy, and someone's going to have another productive at-bat. When you talk about professional hitters, this is what they're doing. This is embodying the professional approach at the plate. It doesn't matter if we're down 1-0. It doesn't matter if we're down 5-0. It's that approach that they keep coming to the plate with, David.
Well, 1-0 and 5-0, though, Dermish. Those are 2 different things.
Absolutely, but I don't. Just to your point, I don't think they're even thinking about that.
What I find interesting is that Citizens Bank is normally, you want to get guys on and you're going to have a home run somewhere in any sort of rally. And I'm trying to remember a game at Citizens where I put a 6 spot up, or team did, never did anything, without a home run. It really is not very common, and it just speaks to momentum. And momentum is sort of something during the playoffs that we talk about. What does it feel like in a clubhouse? The feeling is that we're not going to lose. That's what momentum is. In the regular season, we say momentum is tomorrow's starting pitcher.
Yep.
But in the playoffs, momentum is when you see yourself winning game after game, regardless of how many runs down you are, no matter what inning you're in, that does have an effect as you go forward.
All 3 wins this postseason for the Mets have been from the comeback variety. They're not the Garden variety. They're the comeback variety for the New York Mets. Kodai Senga makes 1 mistake. 3rd pitch of the game, gives up a homer to Kyle Schwarber. We didn't even think he was going to pitch this series. He does. He's a surprise starter. He goes 2 innings. And then David Peterson. Talk about him coming in and shutting the door and handing the ball off to the next guy. It was impressive to see what David Peterson did.
So I should say that the bullpen for the Mets did fantastically, and obviously the Phillies bullpen imploded, gave up 6 runs. But if you're the Mets, one thing that I'm thinking about with them as they're looking to game 2 and even looking beyond is that the Phillies bullpen, it's decent, but it's nothing like what we saw in the American League in game 1 with the Guardians. So you cannot count on, no matter how much pixie dust you have, to continue to come back this way. One thing for the Mets to do if they're going to get through October here, they've got to get some leads. And for me, that's what I was looking at. But on the other hand, Dermish, all I can focus on is game 2 and the fact that Aaron Nola is not pitching. I still can't get over it.
Yeah, you said the momentum is the next day's starter. Well, the next day's starter is Christian Sanchez, in part because Rob Thompson said he didn't want him to deal with the hostile crowd at Citi Field. Also, his home road splits are also not great, but he actually admitted that the hostile crowd at Citi Field was part of the reason why they're starting him at home in Philadelphia in game 2 tomorrow.
I think there's a chance the crowd at Citizens Bank is going to be more hostile than the crowd at Citi Field. They're down 1-0 and they're expected to win the World Series. And for me, it makes me smile because I'm down 1-0. And for me, it makes me laugh because you can't go down 2-0 in a 5-game series. It's absolutely out of the question. You won't win. And I can't imagine you want to go down without your best pitcher.
Is there a conversation, though, that you lost this game? Do you have a conversation with your manager as a front office? Say, hey, I know we announced Christopher Sanchez as the game 2 starter, but if he doesn't take the ball and walk out on the mound tomorrow, you can still roll out Aaron Nola. Is there a conversation to be had there?
So just the front office made this decision along with the manager, and they had in their mind what they were going to do if they won or if they lost game 1. That decision was already made. I'm just questioning it. It may come out right now that they're going to switch it up and have Nola go game 2. My guess is they won't do it because of what that would do to Sanchez, who you are going to need going forward if you're going to survive the division series against the Mets. So he's been told Nola's getting ready for game 3 in his mind. I don't think they're going to switch it. It wouldn't make sense to switch it. It would show panic, which I don't think the Phillies need to show or want to show. But I'll tell you, obviously, it's not hyperbole. It is a must-win game for Sanchez and the Phillies tomorrow.
The Mets do it again. Never say die Mets, scoring 5 runs in the 8th inning. They end up winning it 6-2 to take a 1-0 series lead in the best of 5. David Samson here on CBS Sports HQ. David, thanks. Another bonkers game. It's just ridiculous, this team. So the game 2 probables, we just talked about Christopher Sanchez. He's starting on Sunday. Luis Severino opposes him. 4:08 Eastern time. Philadelphia Phillies looking to even up the series at 1 game apiece before the series heads to New York on Tuesday.